Hello everyone, welcome to the VideoGameLads Podcast. Everyone please introduce yourself in reverse alphabetical order.
Hello, I am VertigoTeaparty.
I am RavenValor95.
I am Maddragon249.
And I'm IceBearJudegth.
And now we will be starting off the podcast with what have we recently been playing, and we'll be discussing it in reverse alphabetical order. So IceBear, take...
times.
Well, I was correcting myself on the second one.
So
IceBear, you started off.
For those at home. Okay.
What have you been playing?
Recently, I have finished 3 games. I was kind of away for a little while, but then I came back and finished 3 games.
You've been camping, I think?
Like 12 hours. Yeah, I was camping. That's
okay, because Liam said you were. You never told me, though. You never keep me up to date on your doings.
How did this get out? Oh, well, now everyone knows.
Daniel posted it.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. So I finished The Witcher 2, Limbo, and The Swapper. Those are the games I finished recently.
All very good games.
Yep, especially Witcher 2 and Swapper.
I've not played the Swapper, but I have played the Limbo. Played Limbo and Witcher 2. What's the Swapper about?
The Swapper is it's a puzzle platformer, I guess. Basically, you just have this gun called the Swapper, which allows you to make up to 4 copies of yourself, and then the idea is that you use the gun as well to like swap into each one, so you can swap between them. But then there's like obviously like different light filters that stop you creating a clone or swapping or both, and then buttons that need pressing and gravity pads and stuff. It has the same sort of level progression that you'd expect in like Portal or basically any puzzle platformer,
or any good one anyway.
It's quite entertaining. It's got a sort of Waking Mars style aesthetic, I would say. Certainly the animations remind me of it, and it's also set in space. The story's it kind of takes a backseat most of the time, but it is actually kind of interesting because they sort of the idea is that you're swapping, you between these different, just physical copies, but what is it exactly that you're swapping? And it's slightly related to this discovery of this alien species, and so it goes into a discussion about what a soul is.
Oh yeah.
So that's interesting. The ending was actually quite unexpected as well, but I enjoyed it. It's like a good-looking game. It's definitely got a good soundtrack. I enjoyed it. The environments were pretty good, and the puzzles were just about right. Like, given enough time, you could figure it out, and it was generally quite satisfying. And you could the way you play it is you learn from every time you fail as well, which is useful.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah,
I love the whole idea of like soul and like what is a person, especially when it comes to like cloning and stuff like that. So that sounds really interesting. There were it's only sort of semi-related, but in Super Mario 3D World there's this power-up which allows you to create a duplicate of yourself, and you can kill the original you and then have the clone progress through the rest of the game. And it's even though they don't comment on it at all, I'm like, that's pretty fucked up.
Oh yeah. Your clones in the Swapper like die by the dozens. There's pacification fields, so they just disintegrate, or you can just walk them off massive ledges or whatever.
Yeah.
Crush them.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why the Swapper in particular is like this indie game that I've like taken to championing, but like I really enjoyed that game. I think it had a great atmosphere. I like the sound effects, just the animations, the voice acting. I thought were really really well done.
There's
really
voice acting.
Yep.
A little bit. There's a little bit.
It's like the same person, pretty much,
Yeah.
except at the end, depending on which.
I thought it'd go for more of a Metroid vibe where no one talks at all. But that's interesting.
No. Waking Mars also had voice acting, as I recall, which was kind of surprising.
But yeah, the Swapper like is one of those games that I feel it was a really good puzzle game in that like the puzzles were challenging, but like very rarely was I felt like stuck. And they were like that perfect difficulty where you have to think about it sometimes. Like the first
challenging but
was
fair.
Pretty darn easy. Right. And then when you finished it, you actually did feel like, oh, that was actually pretty tough. Like you actually get that sense of accomplishment of when you finish the puzzle. And
yeah,
like,
each puzzle has its own reward as well, which is
Yeah.
quite satisfying. It's not just move on to the next thing, you're actually collecting stuff, from each puzzle, which helps.
Yeah, I just never understood why the game never got much airtime, because it seems like just random indie games that I feel get overhyped. Not to name any on a name basis, Thomas was alone, but like they get all this hype, and they're just like, oh, that game is pretty good. But then I play something like this that I think was really well done, and like nobody, like you don't hear about it a whole lot.
Yeah.
No, I have to say, I think I must have got the swapper in a bundle or something like that. Like, certainly looking at it, I don't recall seeing anything else on it other than just, so yeah, definitely an underrated one and worth a look. It's probably, I mean, this will go out after the Steam sale, so it's not really worth saying that it's on sale, but it was going for like a couple of quid, and it's definitely worth it, at least that much.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's pretty easy to pick up for $5.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. It's something you can pick up and put down as well. It's a good way to pass the time and an enjoyable game.
After this podcast, I'm gonna have to check it out because I've actually already got it installed. So, yeah, might as well.
Yeah, I'd recommend.
I mean, yeah, you should be able to beat it in. It's been a while since I beat it, but it was like what, 4 or 5 hours? It's relatively short, I think. I might be misremembering, but
4 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
And I
good,
also
especially since
managed
I'm
to
doing
get
the whole I want to beat as many games as possible thing.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, so now
what do
you
you
would
think about Witcher 2?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that.
I like almost exclusively enjoyed it. Like I thought the story was pretty unpredictable. Like I thought it might have sort of kind of been in a rush to tie some of the loose ends together. But other than that, I thought it was pretty good. The pacing was fairly good. Usually I liked the combat. There were a couple of instances where I got frustrated because there's certain like encounters where you're pretty much forced to just dodge 90% of the time and then like come in with one quick attack and just like chip away at their health and stuff like that. And it's a bit frustrating in that case, but I mean mostly it was pretty varied, and I can see what they've tried to do with different enemies. Like certain ones you have to attack with quick attacks and others heavy attacks and stuff.
Which path did you choose?
Which path? As in the leveling up path?
No, out of Yorvith and Roche. Yorvith, or whatever.
Yorvith was the character I chose. Yeah, that surprised me as well, was because I knew that obviously there was going to be a Witcher 3, and I remember somebody mentioning, there's actually quite a big choice that you make in one of the games that could affect the other ones. I didn't realize how many big choices there were. Like,
yeah, it's kind of cool.
I'm pretty sure I was making like groundbreaking decisions like couple every minute, towards the end of that game. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they combine that into the third one. And I think the third one will benefit from being open world as well. I'm basically Witcher 2 is like made me really excited for the third, and it was really accessible as well for having not played the first. Like it could almost be treated as its own story because
yeah.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
It does fill in the gaps a lot of the time, but it also doesn't give you every single piece of information. So you do sort of, get the best of both worlds, where you do understand what's going on in this journey, but the whole world is sort of more of a mystery.
Yeah, well, they have flavor text for that, which is kind of how the Elder Scrolls does it a lot of the time as well, which is quite handy, really, because obviously then you got the choice.
Yeah. Something that I loved about the 2 pathway system is that so much shit actually changes. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, there's quests on like never play.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like replaying the game just so I can choose the Yorvith path, or no, yeah, Yorvith.
You chose Roach, did you?
Yeah, he's a total bro.
Okay.
Totally would. Although someone told me like you have to actually go and kill Roche or something like that if you choose Yorvith.
No.
Oh, okay.
As far I was having a conversation like at the end. There's this little in the prologue, right before I ended up getting into this combat thing. Geralt asks, "Do you know what's happened to Roach?" And unfortunately, that was cut off by that combat, so I have no idea. But I think he's fine.
Okay.
I haven't seen him in a while. I miss him.
He's a good lad. I liked him a lot.
Yeah, I didn't realize. Well, I kind of didn't particularly. I just wanted to have but the best of both worlds, which you kind of can do, really.
Well, there's a lot of information not given to you if you choose the other pathway instead of Roche, but the same thing applies to both, so whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it is. There's so many variations and stuff.
Like, I'm not sure. Like, you know the dragon at the
complicated.
start of the game.
Yes, I know that dragon.
Yeah. Do you ever find out its identity?
Of course.
Oh, you do. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just trying to figure out which sort of stuff changes because I hear a lot of stuff that does change and stuff.
There's a great Let's Play of Witcher 2 on. You might have heard of it. YouTube.com/VertigoTeaparty has a full Let's Play of Witcher 2. You should definitely check that out. You can find out what's different.
There you go. She's played through all of the scenarios just for your benefit. I think that's a guarantee. That's a guarantee, right? Yeah.
Well, I played through. I sided with Yorvith or whatever his name was, so you can at least pick up from there.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Which part is that? Because you don't like title your parts, do you?
No, God, no. It'd take extra effort.
That'd be too convenient for me. I got to look through each 96
so I guess you'll have to
parts.
start from the beginning. You got time.
Sure.
You got time and lots of.
But I got to play the
and...
Swapper, and now I got to check out The Witcher 2. Ugh.
Play it at double speed, it'll take half as long.
Okay. What other game have you been playing? Limbo, was it?
Limbo is the other one that I finished this week. Wasn't that a cathartic ending?
I don't understand it.
I
don't understand it.
Well,
stuff happens.
My understanding is that he's searching for his sister the whole time, and then he finds her, and that's about it.
Do they ever
unfortunately
give any indication that he actually is searching for his sister? I don't remember.
Not in the game.
Okay,
on
yeah,
the
that's what I was
Steam
thinking.
Store page they do, but not in the game.
Huh.
Here's the description for Limbo. Uncertain of his sister's fate, a boy enters Limbo.
All right.
That's all of it. So there you go. I guess
is
that's cleared up any of the story that was missing from that game.
So is Limbo like what we know as Limbo, or is that just sort of some sort of location where, people don't often go to because it's deadly?
I'm thinking it's supposed to be kind of related to, Purgatory or Limbo because of how it's, black and white.
Yeah, because from the ending I got was that he's just doomed to repeat it again and again. Because if you look at the ending area, it looks pretty much identical to the starting area of the game.
Oh, and of course you end up, picking yourself up off the ground and stuff.
Yeah. And so it's sort of like, he's stuck there forever, doomed to constantly die and search for his sister,
Limbo
but he'll never find her.
Limbo sounds like hell. I thought it was supposed to be the middle ground. You sort of got, I don't know, sandwiches for lunch and they were okay. And that was the idea behind Purgatory, but I guess there's another direction to take with
my understanding of Purgatory, I think the common understanding of Purgatory is it's it's not good or bad, but I think, and I don't know what original text for what Purgatory is supposed to be maybe the Bible, I don't know, but Purgatory was not as bad as hell. It's bad, but it's not hell. So it'd be stuck in a restaurant listening to Celine Dion on repeat as opposed to, say, Justin Bieber in hell.
Yeah.
So it still sucks. It's just not as bad.
Not as much, yeah.
They didn't have they should have had different tiers of goodness. Surely there's not just the good, the bad, and the ugly as far as Christianity is concerned. Surely some people are kind of good.
They get
That's
promoted.
too much paperwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The ending didn't really explain much. The whole game didn't really explain much, but it had some pretty interesting puzzle ideas, but it really wasn't that meaty of a game.
Let me explain the ending to you.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. Art. There
Okay.
you go. Games are arts. Make your own interpretation. And I'm only partially making fun of that idea. Yeah. Mostly making fun of the idea. But I think you're supposed to kind of figure, I don't think he or she or whoever, I think they wanted you to kind of figure things out on your own and come up with your own description and blah blah blah, which can be also seen as an excuse for not making a solid ending. But
Yeah.
I'll let.
Well,
I'll let
to be
the,
fair, it never had a solid start, so it's not like
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
it Sopranos or anything. It's just like it was a pretty
It's
cryptic
there.
game at the best of times. The spider is love.
But yeah, the atmosphere was good, but the rest and the puzzles were occasionally alright, but the rest of it just sort of was lacking. I don't know.
Yeah.
Alright, so Maddragon, if IceBear's
Yes.
done, I think it's your turn.
What have I been playing recently?
Good
First of all,
question.
completed Watch Dogs on PS4, which
Oh,
was
That's good.
it was pretty good. You know,
Mm.
I didn't hype the game up really like some people were, so I hadn't I hadn't kept up to date with what was going on in the game before release. So when I went into it, it was basically all new for me. But it was a good game. It's the hacking elements were pretty good with it. The story was it kept the game going along, but it wasn't anything like too special for me really. Overall, it was really good though.
Yeah, looking forward to Watch Dogs 2 where they actually fix the problems.
Yeah.
Also, one thing I actually really, really hate about Watch Dogs is the fact that they call the vigilante the fox at the end of the game, and they call him the fox because of this logo on his hat. Yeah, it looks nothing like a goddamn fox.
I'm sure that just seemed to come out of nowhere that day.
It really did, and
the
I
entire
also
game they didn't, they didn't sort of like mention, like a nickname for the vigilante at all.
yeah,
like
it
that
was
or
either the
anything.
vigilante or Aiden Pierce. That's all
Yeah.
they called him, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, we're tired of calling Aiden Pierce. Let's call him the Fox because his hat has a fox on it, sort of, kinda."
Would have been awkward if it was like just a branded cap.
Yeah.
They just
VT,
call him like
you were
the
gonna say
Nike or
something?
something.
I was just gonna say, I think Maddragon probably approached the game the best way to approach it,
Yeah.
without like paying too much attention to the hype and just being like, I'm just gonna take this game at face value and play it and see what it's like. That's probably the best way to do
Yeah.
pretty much any game, really. Because I played through Fable a few months back, and some of you might have been like 2 years old when that first came out, but I know there was like a lot of hype around that game.
Yeah,
Like, oh
everybody-
my god,
Mm.
it's gonna be this. You're gonna live life, and it's gonna be a full life adventure.
Yeah,
and
one of
there's
the
all this
things people like to
amazing
say
things.
is that you could
Well-
drop an acorn when you're a child, and then when you come back as an adult, it'll be a full-grown tree, but none of that's in the
Right.
game or something.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. It's but if you take Fable, like just ignore all that and just play
Ignore
it
Peter
as an
Molyneux.
RPG, it's
That's
a fun
always-
game. It was a
Ignoring
fun
Peter
game.
Molyneux is always a good rule.
I think that's a good point. We should just always ignore Peter Molyneux. But like,
Yeah.
if you just play it as RPG, I think it's a really good RPG. I mean, first off, you can decapitate people with a bow and arrow. All right, automatically, at least a
Plus
6
one.
or a 7 on a 10-point scale. So, but it was a fun RPG. It was very enjoyable to play and had an interesting story. And like I say, I enjoyed it. So, but did it live up to the hype? Absolutely not. Would I suggest people play it? Sure, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I
it's
put
like
so
Watch Dogs.
many hours into Fable 1.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
back in the
all
day.
of the Fable games. Like Fable 2 was probably my first like major RPG experience when I was.
How is Fable
yeah,
2?
like,
I've
just
not
because
played
I was
it because
behind
they
on
didn't release it
consoles,
on
I was,
PC.
Like, one when Fable 2 came out. I really enjoyed it, but a lot of people didn't. But it's the first Fable game I played, and I generally love that series. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that I'm probably quite biased.
Yeah.
So did you like
and it's
Fable
very
3 then?
British, which you are.
I did not as much as Fable 2, but I liked it.
No. Fable 3 was terrible for me. I mean,
I didn't think it was terrible. I agree that it once again failed to live up to hype. Who'd have
Yeah.
thought? But
It was also too easy.
well, yeah, that's
The
that's
PC version was made way tougher than the console version. At least that's what they said when they're selling the game. But I died like twice, so yeah.
Yeah,
that-
I
that-
actually, believe it or not, I actually watched RavenValor's Fable 3.
Oh my God,
playthrough.
no.
I didn't- I know, amazing. But because I actually watched some other people's content. Like
That's
some people
crazy.
who I won't mention. But yeah, like it didn't look bad, but like I watched Angry Joe's review of it, and like the things that he pointed out just seemed like so awful. Like having to teleport to like change weapons and upgrade or something like that. It's been a
Oh,
while
yeah.
since I've watched his review. It was like 2 years
it's
ago.
got like
but...
a little closet room that you can go into.
That
and
just
change
takes
all your
up so
stuff.
much
It was
time.
actually a selling point at the time, but yeah, it was because he wanted to make it more diegetic and not just have menu systems.
The biggest
which
problem
he
I have with
achieved,
Fable
guess.
3 is the fairy dust trail, because you spend so much time in the game just looking down at the ground instead of actually admiring the game or
That's
paying
true.
attention.
It does not encourage exploration, which is never a good idea for an RPG, particularly one that actually looks like quite good, like Fable does, to be honest.
Yeah, Fable 3 has a nice aesthetic. I like how it looks. So, Maddragon, Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
It was a good game.
Yeah, what other games have you been playing?
As well as that, I've mainly been playing JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on PS3. Completed it yesterday. Totally, 100% completed it. Platinumed it.
Oh, really? You platinumed it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was really easy.
Wow! Like, it took you how many years to get your
could go
first
into
platinum
the
on
game.
Borderlands? Then, like, 7 seconds later, you get another one.
I know.
My god.
But literally, within the first, like, few minutes of the game, you could just mash buttons and you get, like, about 15 trophies from it, you know?
Jesus Christ, that's worse than Terminator
Wow.
Salvation.
Because, I mean, the hardest trophy on it was you had to, like, set off these dramatic finishes, which were finishing a fight in a certain way, in a certain position on the map, on each level. That was the hardest trophy for it. There was, you know, it's pretty good, though. As, like, in case you don't know, it is a fighting game based off the JoJo's anime and manga. And it is incredible how accurate it is to the the source material. Like, I mean, it's not a balanced fight there at all, but it is.
Yeah, I played the demo and it didn't seem like that, because I picked one guy and I was able to beat the demo like every time I played it by just spamming the square button.
Yeah, it's got like an auto combo sort of thing where you just press the square button and it automatically goes into like medium, heavy, special, and then a super.
Okay.
You can do it, you can do it yourself, or you can create your own combos and stuff. But it's more about the style of the game and mimicking the.
It's style over
feel.
substance.
Yeah, style of substance. That's actually what it says on the back of the case as well. It's fight
Really?
with style. That's like the slogan for the game. Fight with style. Because it is a really good game. It's out of all the games that are based off like manga and anime, I gotta say it is incredible how accurate it is.
This is a big thing for Maddragon to say.
Oh yeah. It is a really good game. It's fun. The single player is okay. Online, I've never tried it online, but from what I've heard, it's pretty laggy.
Oh yeah,
Not very good,
fighting games are meant to be
network
played local, not online.
Well, yeah, quite often they're P2P, but
Zelda's just so unreliable.
I don't know why I'm even contributing that, but yeah. Well, I don't know. Is it P2P on console?
Yeah,
Probably.
There you have it, people. Probably.
Yeah. So, aside from anything more to add to that, or you want to go into your next game?
That's pretty much it. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than that, what else have I been playing? Final Fantasy 14.
I think you're perpetually playing that. Do you ever plan on stopping?
He's playing it right now.
Yeah.
I actually am playing it right now. I'm mining.
Are you Oh my god. Oh my
Well,
god.
I don't have to think about it. I'm just running around mining. It's mindless. But yeah, I've been playing it since launch. I used to play mainly on PC, but then when the PS4 version came out, switched over to that mainly because it just feels good on PS3. PS4. PS3 though, that was not very well optimized for the console.
Right. And how is it? Like, I know you talk about it a lot, but like for the viewers at home, listeners at home.
For me with MMOs, I did play a little bit of WoW, but for me Final Fantasy 14 is like the MMO because it is a standard sort of MMO. It doesn't do anything too radically different from like the formula that WoW has sort of made. But it does it good. It's it looks good, it performs good, and it's Final Fantasy. I mean, that's part of the drag. what am I saying? That's part of the attraction to it, is that it's Final Fantasy, for me, because it's got all the lore, the design, all that mixed in with it.
But the real question is, can you play as Lightning?
Yes, you can, actually.
Oh my god, you can? That's brilliant.
Well, earlier in the year, I think, when Lightning Returns came out, they did have an event, and you could do the event and get, like, a hairstyle and stuff from it, I think, and clothing and weapons. I think just weapons, yeah.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of people sort of, like, mimicking the characters.
Pretty cool. Even though I don't really like Lightning, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, I keep wanting to go back to Final Fantasy, but the saddest thing about that is, like, the main thing I want to go back for is so I can go back to, like, chopping trees and harvesting bushes, because I want to do the trade skill stuff. Like, I don't know why, but, like, that kind of stuff I love. And they gotta say that multi-classing system in that game is awesome. Every MMO should do that going forward.
The only thing with the multi-classing system, it's sort of like it makes it a little bit difficult and overwhelming, sort of, trying to level all the classes up, because you got all the tradecraft, the gathering classes, the crafting classes, the battle classes, and you can level them up all on one character. But the thing is, once you do the quests, the side quests and the main quests on, like, say, your first class, you gotta grind for ages on doing dungeons and fates and other sort of, like, side quests.
I think that's more of a problem. I think that's more of a problem with their quest setup, because isn't there not any quests after, like, level 30 period?
I'm not sure. I'm at the sort of stage. My main class is at, like, level 35, but there should be. The main story goes all the way up to 50, and then they've added main story quests with updates and stuff. But then each area's got its own, like, side quests. But once you do the side quest once, you have to, the only quests that are available are leave quests, which are, like, sort of like just generic sort of quests, like, kill certain things, collect certain things, which you can repeat and repeat and repeat. But that's it,
Is that the end of Final Fantasy? You have anything more to add, anyone?
I mean, I haven't played it, but I could weigh in if you like.
Sure.
Tell us your opinions on this game you've not played.
Well, anything to get everyone talking.
Well, people do it all the time anyway.
Yeah.
The internet's like, oh, this game is crap. Really? Tell me about it. Oh, I haven't played it yet, but
I've viewed the
basically,
announcement trailer for this. I am an expert.
Especially exclusives, like console exclusive.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously they like have the other console and can't play them, and they're just like, yeah, it's a sack of shit. That tends to be the way things. No, I have nothing to add on that.
Okay. So I guess with Maddragon's done, it moves on to me. I've been playing Fallout New Vegas recently because I wanted to get that finished, because I recently purchased Skyrim in the Steam Summer Sale, and I'm actually going to be playing an Elder Scrolls game because Maddragon was like, buy it, and so I gave in and I bought it. It's going to be finding out how Skyrim works and Elder Scrolls. First time I'm going in, boys. But
I can't believe you still haven't played one.
I haven't. What? I'm sorry. Okay, I just sort of been skipping it. I had bad experiences with Oblivion when I rented it, and it was like, yeah, I don't really care.
This is where Raven's see how many games you can beat in a year thing just grinds to a halt. Bethesda slog.
Yeah.
How it runs. Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. I'm just expecting it. Like the next few games I'm planning on tackling are like Dragon Age Origins and Skyrim. Yep, it's over. But yeah, Fallout New Vegas, I basically did all of the side quests in that game, and then I tried tackling the DLC, but Old World Blues was just so many fetch quests. The dialogue was great, the actual questing was boring as hell, so I just loaded a save file before I even started the DLC and just did the final mission to complete the game, and yeah, now I'm done with it.
Yeah, I didn't I wasn't particularly fussed about the New Vegas DLC. I kind of like stopped halfway through it. I think after Old World Blues because that was the first one I did. I don't know if anybody else. I feel like the other ones were like significantly better, but
I played Dead Money and I had to force myself through that. That was just painful. It seemed like they wanted to do like a survival horror thing with it, and it was just weird. It just did not like it.
I think Fallout series is about as survival horror as it's gonna get. Like, you don't want to crowbar anything more into there. That's, you know.
They added like this poison fog where if you enter it, you start losing health, and these enemies that constantly revive. It's just dumb. But yeah, finished with Fallout New Vegas, and I've recently been playing Guacamelee as well. That's a 2D Metroidvania game, and it's actually been pretty fun. There's lots of interesting little moves and combos you can do with that, and yeah, one of my favorite things is going to the Steam Workshop and just looking at all the new costumes they've got, because you can actually play as like Lara Croft, Johnny Bravo, and all that sort of stuff. It's really nice. Has anyone here played Guacamelee, or
played it a little bit?
What do you think of it?
I didn't get that far. I just did it for a let's try. I enjoyed it. I think, I mean, it's a game I like to go back and play. I really, really like the visual style a lot.
Although
colors, just the way it's presented.
The only thing I don't like about the visual style is when you get an upgrade and it does that flashing thing. I think that's a bit obnoxious.
Well, but yeah, I don't know. That was alright with that. But like that one giant creature you deal with early on, like his coloration was just really well done.
It's
overall,
like
it looked really good.
Greens and lots of blacks and greys, and it was actually it had a nice contrast and it looked very interesting. Yeah, the art style is very good looking.
But yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed the music. Thought the music was really good.
Oh yeah, I downloaded the soundtrack from Humble, and I've been listening to it occasionally. Yeah, it's a really nice soundtrack.
Yeah, I quite liked it, and it's actually one of those games I kind of want to go back to. I'm not huge on Metroidvanias, but I don't dislike them either.
It's a very simple Metroidvania, so that's all right.
So, yeah, I like the combo system and whatnot. I like pretty much any game like that as the combo system, because I'm like, oh yeah, now I'm gonna try to get my combo even higher.
Yeah, it's like, let's see how far I can take this bad boy. 117 combo, we can do better than that.
See if you can get your combat multiplier even higher.
Oh god. Do you have any food or health potions?
Your will energy is low. Watch that.
I don't think I used any magic, so I didn't get that.
My mana is low.
Oh god, don't
Torchlight up the place. 2 in there. Sorry.
Yes, I've been playing Guacamelee, and also Bayonetta. Finally finished that game. What a game! That's a good game. Love it.
Bayonetta is probably in my top 5 favorite lists of games of all time.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I can't wait for the Wii U re-release though, for when it's 60 FPS. That's gonna be great. Oh,
that's awesome that they actually are including the first game with Bayonetta too. That's pretty badass.
I don't know if I should play the first game on Wii U and then go to Bayonetta 2, because at 60 FPS it's going to be an entirely different game, because Bayonetta on PS3 was nearly unplayable in certain chapters. Like chapter 8, when you're on the highway and all these people are on the cars, or all these heaven angel stuff are on the cars and you have to fight them. It was at such low frame rate. It was just awful. So having 60 FPS for the entire game, it's going to be heavenly. It's lovely.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. And so Bayonetta, good game. Amazing combat stuff. Although I did find myself just relying on the Dante sword. Did you use the Dante sword much, VT?
I don't. The Dante sword,
the Sharuba or something like that.
Oh yeah, the kind of ninja sword.
Yeah,
I did end up using that a lot. I used the whip a lot too, actually.
I don't think I got the whip.
Really?
Snake. I don't think I equipped it, or I don't think I got it.
I rarely have to play it on Wii U.
I rarely visited the gates of hell. I just was like, no, I'm gonna continue playing because I really want to see what the story's about and stuff.
Oh, yeah, because I played through like multiple times. Like I beat on like every difficulty and gotten almost all the items and all. Well, I've definitely bought all the upgrades and whatnot. But
yeah, I love
Yeah,
the costumes.
snake I
The
used a lot.
PE outfit for Bayonetta is so hilarious.
The PE, yeah. I actually like my favorite one that I used all the time was I think it was like the old witch or whatever, where she
Oh
has
yeah, that's a nice one as well.
Yeah, I
Looks
really like that
very
one, so I use that.
neat.
But I'm interested too. That's the other reason I want to play the first Bayonetta again on Wii U, to play with like the Zelda Nintendo costumes. Like the
Oh
Samus
yeah,
costume was
Samus
awesome.
looks brilliant. Can't wait to just constantly be flicking her helmet up and down. The Peach one as well, because that's gonna be cool. So instead of getting like a foot or a hand coming out, now it's Bowser's foot and hand. That's hilarious.
Oh, is it? Did they actually do that?
Yeah,
Or are you
if you're in the
speculating?
Peach costume, instead of having the Wicked Weave create like a foot, it's Bowser's foot, and you
Oh, that's
collect
freaking
coins,
awesome.
and they make the sound
No,
of
I
collecting
definitely-
coins. Yeah.
I'm definitely going to have to play through that. I think I'll play because I've wanted the same thing. I've like, well, should I play through Bayonetta 1 first on Wii U? But it's like, no, that's not going to happen. I want to play Bayonetta 2 first,
Yeah.
and then I'll go back and play the first one.
They're adding in a lot of new features for Bayonetta 1 on the Wii U. Like, there's the ability to play the game just using the stylus and the gamepad, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
Interesting.
so that's what I've been playing. VT, what have you been playing?
Let's see, Watch Dogs as well. I've been playing that for the last
Yeah.
few weeks, on off and on. Like Maddragon, I've enjoyed it. It's doesn't feel like revolutionary, but it's enjoyable. The hacking is actually quite fun. I really like using the hacking to address using it to thin out the enemy troops. Like when I'm doing a mission where it's like you have to break in and
Oh
steal
my
something.
god. One thing about that reminds me of the most hilarious encounter I had during Watch Dogs. You know, like how certain enemies have grenades on them?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I activated one of those. The guy freaks out, starts like going to pick it up and throw it, and then he throws it at someone else, at his own teammate, and he kills them. And they had a grenade that activated on their death. And then when people went to go find out, what's that sound? Let's go over there. His grenade exploded and killed more of them, and it was just, it was fucking hilarious. Massive chain reaction of idiocy.
You can set off stuff like that, which is really cool. Like, for example, once there was I think it was a car alarm or something, and there was a guy with a grenade close by, so I set the car alarm off to get the guys to come over and check it out.
Oh, yeah.
So then the guy with the grenade, I set the grenade off to blow the car up and all of them that got around too. So it's like all of that is really fun to figure out and plan it out to thin out. I mean, yeah, you can run in and just blow everybody away. I mean, that's fine too, but like if you plan it out, it's just a lot more satisfying. I also try to kind of go the more stealth-y route. I try to not kill them and just take them out, just knock them out. I don't think you get any kind of benefit from doing that, as far as I can tell. But it's just more fun to try to be sneakier.
I think you might get more XP if you stealth knock them out. Like, I think it's the equivalent of headshotting them.
Kind of sounds like the old Assassin's Creed 1 equivalent, where you just sit on a rooftop throwing knives at a guard, and then another guard goes to investigate, and before long there's 15 dead guards.
That sounds like every stealth game for the last 10 years, basically.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the knives were especially, I don't know, entertaining for me of the ones I played, because they were like instant death raining from the same. Like, you wouldn't have to move. They just keep investigating. No one would think to look up.
And even if they did start investigating, you just hide in like some haystack, because they wouldn't think like, oh, he couldn't
Rooftop
possibly
guard,
be in there.
Then you're lost. Yeah.
Yeah, the AI in stealth games doesn't seem. Which I guess to be fair, I haven't played other new stealth games like Blacklist.
Blacklist is
Or
good,
the new Metal
especially
Gear,
on Perfectionist.
But yeah, the AI seems to still be kind of like, he ran into this room. Well, I can't find him. I guess he's gone. It's like, he's definitely not in the closet or anything.
Someone did.
I had that in a thief game. Like, I
Yeah,
hid
thief.
in front of a guard while he was alerted. And he didn't open the closet that I hid in front of him while he was watching.
There was this.
I did try that again and got killed, but it may have been a glitch.
There was this video on Thief where some guy was in the I forget which area, but basically there was this lady in front of a fireplace, and he kept dropping dead bodies just behind her chair, and she'd always get up and go, "Huh, what was that?" and then you just sit back down and go, guess it was nothing. No matter how many times he dropped like 17 dead bodies on the floor, she'd always just go, huh, what was that? Guess it was nothing. It was
Nice.
Stealth AI is ridiculous, or stealth game AI.
Let's see. But anyway, Watch Dogs, good game. Been enjoying it. There's a lot of side stuff to do too.
Oh my god, the virtual trips. I love those.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The spider
there's
one.
a lot of weird
That's
things
definitely
too
the
that I
best.
totally. Wait, what was that? Say what? Maddragon, the maddest of all the dragons.
The spider tank. virtual
That's
trip.
good.
Or digital trip, you know.
I haven't done that one yet. I need to check that one out.
You got it. That is definitely the best one out of all of them.
There's like a digital trip where it's like Carpocalypse or whatever that game is called, where you're just running
That's the
over
one I've
people. It's ridiculous.
That's the one I've done. Yeah.
Sounds like
too.
Saints Row 4 territory, or Saints Row 3. I
That's
haven't
what
played
I've-
Saints Row 4.
That's what I've noticed as well. It seems like I was expecting this game to be relatively serious, but like some of the side missions and side quests are like pretty a little like zanier than I would expect.
Yeah,
which I'm okay with that.
Some
but-
are insane, but then you've also got like some other ones which are really fucking serious. I won't say which ones because potential spoilers.
But yeah,
But,
Watch
yeah.
Dogs, good game. Dark Souls 2, I've been playing that as well. Was a huge fan of Dark Souls. I was
Which
way
one's better,
late
Dark Souls
on the
2 or Dark Souls 1?
train.
Go.
I can't definitively answer that yet.
No, you have to.
Out of 10.
Definitively. Right now, go.
Nope.
Out
No
of
words,
4.
just numbers. Out of 10.
17. I don't feel like I'm doing this right. But A+, God, no, this pressure. But Dark Souls 1, like I watched a lot of Let's Plays and speedruns before I played it, so I went in. The only parts of Dark Souls 1 that I was blind were like the painting area and the DLC were totally blind. So I knew it was kind of coming a lot of the times. So Dark Souls 2's I've specifically tried to avoid spoilers, which was a little tougher.
Oh yeah, because you
I
had
got
the
PC
month
version.
delay. Ugh.
Yeah, and I
This
tend
is
to, like,
Assassin's Creed.
especially like with doing the recordings, since I don't tend to just sit down and beat the game within a few days or a week or whatever. I tend to like spread it out. It's been even worse. But I've done pretty good. I mean, there's some stuff I have looked up or people have told me it wasn't like a major deal, but I haven't had major things spoiled. So far, like I gotta say, the beginning was terrible. Like I feel like the beginning of Dark Souls 2 is more tedious than difficult. Like they give you very little resources to deal with the crap that they're throwing at you, and you just end up dying over and over again just because of the way the mechanics are set up.
We
and
should have
because you
been prepared to die.
That's the first one, so I don't have to be prepared to
Yeah.
die anymore.
Oh well.
Yeah, sometimes difficulty like is thrown in as like a cover up for bad level design. Like I feel as though a game that prides itself on being like preposterously hard sometimes gets away with like having kind of cheap elements to it than a game, you know, than just a standard game that happens to have this one infamously difficult part.
Right, and that's why, and I feel like, and I don't like the beginning of Dark Souls 2 because I think that will muddy people's perception of the game, and they'll play it and they're like, oh well, you get all this bull crap. Like for example, in this game, unlike Dark Souls 1, when you die, your maximum amount of health drops a little bit. So every time you die, your maximum health drops to a like 50%. Is the lowest it can get of your max health, and like Estus flasks in the first game, you had at least 5, and they would replenish whenever you went to a bonfire. Well, when you start the game, you have like 1, maybe 2, depending if you find the flasks and whatnot. So that's, and also the other things you can use to heal the stones are, at least at that level, pretty expensive and hard to find. So like all of these things stacked up against you, but then once you kind of get a few levels under you, it becomes a lot easier because you're not dealing with all the other bull crap, and you can relatively easily fix the half health problem. So it's like the beginning is way harder than anything else I've been dealing with so far. And again, it wasn't hard in a fun way. It didn't feel like, I feel accomplished because I got through this. It's like, I dealt with the bullshit enough to get to the more fun parts.
It was challenging but unfair.
So like a
Right.
bad difficulty curve.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Right.
The
And,
changes that they're
but-
making to the Estus oh sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say that but once I got past like that initial 1 to 2 hours or so, probably 2 hours. Now I really feel like I'm getting into it. I really am enjoying it now. I think I'm like 30 hours in total.
Jesus.
I'm having a lot of fun. It feels like I'm not that far into the game either. That's what's crazy. Is like I'm 30 hours in, and I feel like I'm not that far in. I could be totally wrong. And I've killed, well, hell, even last night I did a pretty big session of about 6 hours. I killed about 5 bosses in that time frame. And I gotta say, bosses are definitely disappointing. They've been really easy for the most part. There's only been 1 or 2 bosses, like maybe 2 bosses that I would consider difficult so far, and I've beaten like 8 or 9. But I'm kind of getting the impression with this game, they wanted more boss encounters, they wanted more unique encounters, but they didn't necessarily want everyone to be like hard. They just wanted it to be memorable and different than a standard fight. So they made them boss fights. I'm all right with that. If that's like really the direction they were wanting to go, that's fine. But like I think I've one shot at least 4 bosses, at least. And that's crazy for Dark Souls to me. It's like
in the bosses,
when you say one shot, you mean in one attempt?
1 attempt.
Yeah, not a single.
Like
not a single.
One strike of the
Yeah,
sword.
no.
Well, that was easy.
They're not that easy.
Dark Souls isn't that hard. It doesn't sound like it anyway.
So prepare to die means to the bosses. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're telling the boss when you walk into the room. But there's definitely been some tough ones, and now I feel like I'm getting into some more interesting bosses. Because up to this point, it's either been a standard one-on-one fight, and the guy has like sword and shield, and you kind of learn his patterns. It's like, okay, he swung 3 times, so now I can hit twice and back out, and wait for him to swing 3 times. Okay, now jump in, hit, back out. So it's been pretty standard. Or it's the, hey, there's a bunch of enemies at the same time. That's what makes this boss hard. It's like, all right, I got the idea. You can stop doing that now. But like I said, that's overall pretty minor complaint. Because like I said, I've definitely been enjoying it. I definitely feel like it's still difficult in that if you just run in and like just don't pay attention, don't plan, you're going to have a bad time. And I've watched a lot of Let's Plays of Dark Souls, and a lot of people's problems is they just they don't learn. Like they'll walk into a new area and they'll see an enemy kind of standing off in the distance. They're like, aha! And they'll like charge at the enemy. And then of course there was other enemies heading to the side of the hallway that you couldn't see that now jump at them from behind. It's like, how many times are you going to fall for that? Where you can go, maybe I should be careful. Like anytime something seems a little too safe in Dark Souls, it probably means there's a trap waiting for you. But the thing is, I feel like for the most part, Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2, other than the beginning of Dark Souls 2, is fair. It's not trolly. It's not like BS stuff like I want to be the guy and things, or unfair Mario and things like that.
Let us fight.
Yeah, it's like if you pay attention and if you're careful and if you plan and you play smart, you'll be rewarded by not dying, which, I mean, that's a whole discussion to be had in and of itself. But but it feels rewarding because I do take my time, because I am very cautious. Until recently, mostly, I didn't really die a whole lot. It's comparatively to probably what the typical person might play, who's played this for the first time and used to going, oh, that's only 3 enemies. I'm just going to run in and start spamming R1, and oh wait, why am I dead? So I feel like my caution is rewarded in that I don't have to redo areas, I don't have to backtrack, and I go through areas often like in one or 2 attempts. But overall, yeah, it's really good game. I'm very much enjoying it. I couldn't say whether I like it more than the original Dark Souls 1 just yet.
All right.
But Metal Gear Revengeance, played a little bit of that. Loving it so far. I like it's so over the top and ridiculous, and the story and the dialogue is asinine.
The tutorial boss fight, you slice in fucking half while there's like J-Rock or whatever going in the background going. It is over the top.
Yeah, it's awesome. And that if you go in knowing what to expect, it's awesome. So I'm really, really enjoying that so far. WildStar, I've been playing WildStar. It's fun. For people who are like burnt out on MMOs, I don't think this is the MMO to break you of that. It's I mean, it's definitely more. I like this move MMOs are making away from targeted combat, where it's more like aiming combat. I really like that. So it's cool to go that route, and this trade skilling has seemed pretty cool. And you have your own player house, which is I love player housing. So it's been enjoyable. Will I play it past like 2 to 3 months? Probably not, but I'm okay with that. That's the way I do MMOs now. I buy them, I play them 2 or 3 months, and then I'm like, okay, and I might go visit them again in like a year or two.
Yeah, that's Yancy said that about like basically every MMO. It's like people start playing a new one for a few days, then they go back to the one that they've invested the most time in, which is generally WoW.
Right, and I mean, I've kind of like wowed out because I played WoW for a long time, and sometimes I'll want to go back, and sometimes I'll like I'll resub for a month or two, and it's like okay, like I feel like I got my $15 or $30 worth of it, and I'll just deactivate and check it out again in like a year or two. But WildStar kind of feels the same. I haven't done any grouping or PvP, so we'll see how that is. But it's been pretty enjoyable. The graphical style I'm not crazy about, but the music actually is really good music in it. It's the first MMO I've played where I was like, wow, I really like this music. But last, I did Cave, and I did buy a Wii U for Mario Kart 8. I know.
We've still yet to play online. Oh, we got to fix that.
I know. We need to. But Mario Kart 8's fun so far. Man, they just completely just ignored the hand-holding part. They literally, you pick a cart, there's multiple carts, multiple tires, and all this other stuff. They don't tell you squat. It's like, are these tires different? Are these carts different in any way?
Well, if you press the plus button, it does.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, if you press the plus button, it gives you all the statistics. It tells you about the traction, handling, acceleration, speed, etc.
Oh, cool. It would have showed that by default, I would think. But anyway, yeah, and I didn't see any option to actually show that.
It's in like the bottom right or something. It says like press the plus, get stats, stuff like that.
Okay, well I must have missed it. But yeah, but like you start the game off and it's not like press A to accelerate. It's just like go. Like you figure the buttons out on this first race.
There's a driving game.
I had difficulty with that because I instantly went to ZR for accelerate, and I was playing co-op with my brother, and we started playing on 150cc, and everyone was speeding by us because we were both holding ZR thinking that'd be accelerate, because that's what it normally is in a racing game. It's R2 or ZR and stuff like that, but no, it's A. So weird.
Yeah, it took me a while to get used to the control. Not that they were bad, it just took me a while.
It's just different.
Learn. Oh, this turns around. This shoots the object. This jumps. This
I can put this behind me if I hold down the item button and down. Huh. And stuff like that.
I remembered from old Mario Kart games.
I've never played an old Mario Kart game, so I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, see, it doesn't tell you like any of that. They're just like, here you go.
I'm sure it's in the instruction manual, but who the hell reads those?
No, God, no. You don't. That's not an excuse anymore. Explain that in the game. But yeah, it's very interesting that they just, especially Nintendo, they just throw you into it with absolutely no explanation of anything.
Skyward Sword! Twilight Princess! Fucking like 7 years worth of intro cutscenes. Ugh. Yes, I understand how to aim. Fuck off.
Lastly, I played a little bit of WindWaker HD. That was the free game that I got.
Yeah, I got that one as well. High five. Good taste.
That game looks damn good. Like, unquestionably, that game looks good. A little overkill on the bloom. I think they tuned it back. Since
they toned it down a lot.
Showed screenshots because it was insane in the original screenshots.
Oh my god, it's like
staring into the sun.
It's like that bit from the SpongeBob movie where they go, "My eyes!" when this guy's bald. That's exactly what it was like.
Exactly, 100% was what it was like. But so far, it's been enjoyable. It's another game I've watched people speedrun, specifically Cosmo. So,
yeah, Cosmo.
Like what's funny is I have not beat a Zelda game since Link to the Past.
Oh.
And I would actually like to beat one. I've played Twilight Princess. I've played Wind Waker. I played a little bit of Ocarina of Time. I have not beaten one though.
Ocarina of Time is actually the first game I beat by myself. So there you go.
Oh wow! I think the first game I ever beat completely by myself was Legend of Zelda, the very first one.
Oh, well, you've actually finished. How did you even do that?
And like I remember when I first saw Ganon as a kid, I was like, "Oh my god! Like this is the boss of the game! Like this is the last guy!"
How
Like,
did you
I don't
figure out stuff though? Like watching reviews and let's plays of it now, everyone's so confused, and the only way they beat it is by looking up hints online. How did you do that? Like
It's been like 30 years, so I don't remember. but well, maybe like 25, but close enough. But I honestly don't remember. It could have been I had Nintendo Power at the time.
right.
You gotta have the power. You gotta have the power.
I don't think it came out in Australia, Nintendo Power. Or if it did, I don't know, might have.
They're not too far away.
I'll have to look it up, actually.
The Australian version. But yeah, I probably had like Nintendo Power or something. I don't know. I know that I did actually call the tip line once.
I did that all the time.
Because like there was this one area, like one dungeon, where I could not figure out how to progress. And I looked all over. And apparently there was like, I was looking too literally at the map. So I was like, well, if the map doesn't show a room there, there's not a room there. And there was, I had to bomb like the wall or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And like that was all I remember specifically. I don't know why I remember that.
Well, they give you no indication that there's breakable walls anywhere, so don't feel too bad.
Right. Yeah, and you got to keep in mind too, at the time, Legend of Zelda was like a new game. So it was funny because I was talking about on the podcast yesterday that I'm also on, is that like
give it a name. Shout it out.
The first RPG I remember playing was Dragon Warrior, the very first Dragon Warrior, and it's the first game where I figured out grinding, or that I needed to grind, because it's like, well, if I go to this other area, I get totally destroyed, but this area is a little bit too easy. I was like, well, wait a minute. If I just keep killing these easier enemies, I can get more powerful, and then eventually now I can go back to that other level. So it was like the very first game I thought to myself, I should probably stay here and just keep killing enemies to level up. It's like such a normal thing now. It's like, well, grinding. But that's all the games that I've been playing that are worthy of discussion.
Turns out that Nintendo Power didn't come out in Australia, but they had some equivalents to it. Nintendo Magazine System and the official Nintendo Magazine. I didn't buy those because PlayStation for Life YOLO.
Loser.
Does that conclude item 1 on the agenda there?
Yeah, it does. And from our timer, we've got 8 minutes left.
Grand. So we've got 8 points remaining, in fact. So
new features on YouTube. It currently in beta is the virtual tip jar and the ability to upload in 60 FPS. What do you guys think about it? Just talk over each other.
I think it's a great.
Well, I'm not too surprised by the virtual. Well, I think the tip jar is not a terrible idea, considering that they basically they have subscription, like paid subscription channels. So I guess
I wonder if the
like
tip jar would have happened without Patreon.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah.
It might be like a response to the like external fundraising things, so that YouTube can. I'm guessing that it takes a cut of the tip jar.
It might.
I'd say there's a 0% chance that they will not take a
Yeah.
chunk out of that.
So 90% of tips presumably go to those impoverished fellows at Google. Maybe it's like just the benefit fund for the guy who's trying to like force Google Plus into everything still. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all, because obviously people are trying to find new ways to like monetize that involve not using Google's horrible system of monetizing. So they're trying to
not using Google Ads. They need some other ways to make money.
Still, like basically robbing you blind, but you know that there's different ways of doing it now that don't even involve adverts.
Well, I would really hope that their take out of the virtual tip jar is going to be pretty small. I would hope.
I hope it's less than 10% or 10%.
Yeah, I'm thinking it should be 10%. I could see them starting it off at like around 20-25.
If it's 30%, that's bullshit.
Yeah, 30% is, but anything higher than that is completely outrageous. I think it should be 10%. Sounds more in line to me.
Or taking a tip from those tips.
But especially since it's from like your viewers that are going to be
Yeah,
Right.
It's like a gift, but
it's
if
to
they
the
take
creator.
if they take anything higher than 10%, there's really no incentive to use the YouTube one, except for the fact that it's marginally more convenient and you may get like a tiny number more people. But to be honest, if people are in a state where they're gonna pay to see content that is totally free, I don't see why they would like balk at using an
Patreon.
external website for that, like PayPal or Patreon or whatever, rather than YouTube system.
I mean, does Patreon like make anything out of
I would guess
money
that it
given?
definitely does.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think it's really a whole lot though. I
think it's probably quite reasonable. Because that kind of is different to a tip jar, though. That's like I mean, that is how people raise money from some stuff. So not everyone has additional content available for that, but yeah. I wonder if, in fact, there is some way of like through YouTube's infrastructure rewarding people who use the tip jar somehow, or if it is just going to be like a tip jar, you put something in there or you don't, and it really doesn't change anything in terms of content.
I bet you initially it'll probably just be tip jar, but then they'll probably build on it where it's like, oh, if you tip this much over a month, you can get this, or whatever, and whoever the channel creator is sets all that up, I would imagine.
Yeah, that seems likely. That seems the sort of way that they would implement that sort of thing.
Then have like subscriptions to certain channels, I guess. Like always donate like this amount each month.
I definitely can see them doing that to compete with like Twitch.
I could have sworn they already had that. Did they not?
That's very few channels I think have access to that.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if they make that more widespread. I guess what they're doing now is testing the ground with both of these things.
They're entering a beta for the tip jars. Have any of you entered it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I put in for it, but I haven't gotten anything back on it.
Yeah, I did that as well.
We've been content making nothing from the channel, and I really don't expect anything else. So, like, it's not really worth it as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I'm only doing it for the money, so I mean, it's going.
Whereas
it's all I care about.
Sellouts, go ahead, put a tip jar there. Don't put anything behind the paywall, you jerks. Yeah, so it's like not a terrible thing, but it's probably still not going to be as good as external sponsoring sites. The only fear is that they're gonna like implement this and then put something in the terms that you can't monetize outside of YouTube or something like that, but I don't see how realistically they could stop that.
I wonder how it will work with multi-channel networks.
I assume that if you're part of an MCN, then you are committed to them, but I don't really know.
Yeah, like, do they
imagine
a portion of your tips?
I wouldn't think so. Given the very few reasons to join an MCM in the first place, I think they're pretty happy to try to keep the people they've got. So if they try to start taking a percentage of the tip jar on top of taking percentages out of the ads and giving you pretty much no benefits at all, I think people would be even more inclined to leave.
Yeah.
Well,
I get the impression they're hemorrhaging people anyway.
You'd think, because like RPM,
you're into contracts
when people want to leave anyway, and then you can only leave at the appointed time, and they'll like a lot of the time people they come back saying, you sure you don't want to renew your contract and stuff. They make it difficult for you as it is. But yeah, no, I don't think that's going to be something that's ever going to be strangled out. So probably pointless and irrelevant, but I guess it's not doing any harm being there.
Yeah,
it's just like another option.
Yeah. But I'm much more excited about the second part of this.
Yeah, 60 FPS.
Yeah. The only issue is that like all of my videos so far are locked at 30. Well, they were uploaded in 30, but also recorded in 30 because there was no point.
Well, all your current videos, when they get uploaded to YouTube, YouTube reconverts them into a different file. So even if you did upload them at 60, it'd be 30 even with the new stuff.
Yeah.
I've heard people say that YouTube saves the original, but I don't buy that.
I don't buy it either.
No,
because it would be huge.
That would be way too much.
Like an episode of Thief, the original file, the rendered episode file comes to about 5 gigabytes. Like Assassin's Creed 3, my Let's Play must have been about 250 gigabytes.
Fucking Christ.
There's no way on this good Earth, unless I have a data center named after me, there's no way on this good Earth that they are keeping the originals.
Yeah,
I'm looking at my longest series is Borderlands 2,
yeah.
and that took up 37.8 gigabytes for all of the parts. Jesus Christ!
I'm looking at
IceBear.
I'm looking at my Dark Souls 2 Part 40 right now, and it's 2.2 gigs by itself. It's 20 minutes.
Oh my god, you
That's
guys!
insane.
I could never upload
mean-
that. Well, I mean, I could, but it'd take about 7 centuries.
That's 60 frames a second too, though. Like
Ugh.
I've made the switch a while back, well, maybe like 2 months ago, to start recording.
What is
in
the
60
benefit
FPS.
right now, though?
The benefit, as we've had this discussion before, is that I want to future proof, because I think too many one of the things I love about
So you're going to re-upload
Let's
the
Plays-
videos?
No, but the reason I love
Proofing.
I might, depending, probably not, but I might.
Dark Souls, the
But-
whole of Dark Souls.
The
But,
director's
the
cut.
Dark Souls 1 I did in 30 FPS. But one of the things I absolutely love about Let's Plays is I love the archival aspects. I
Mm.
love the ability to go back, and especially given how terrible my memory is, say, what was it like when I first played Dark Souls? What was it like when I first played, this game? And going back and watching it again, or having other people watch it for the first time, a year, 2 years, 3 years after I did it. So saving them at a higher quality, I know that at some point YouTube quality was going to go up. I know at some point that I'll be able to host these huge files myself at very minimal cost. Right now, obviously, hosting Dark Souls 2 Let's Play, which is by itself a terabyte or whatever, isn't feasible. But 5-10 years from now, that it might be you can get 100 terabytes of storage for $2 a month, because
It'll be the equivalent of dial-up.
Right, because I mean,
Yeah,
think about
fucking
going
can't wait
back
for
to
that.
dial-up
Computing
and
is
saying,
moving towards being a utility. That's well, it's not necessarily moving towards it, but the idea is that more and more people, especially businesses, are switching towards it, which means that obviously, given the overheads of changing back, the companies that run the cloud computing services can then turn the screws and start charging for their services.
By the way, we've hit an
imagine
hour.
going back and telling people on dial-up, in the dial-up days, even 10, 15-ish years ago, that you'll have three terabyte hard drives are the norm, and
You'll be able to
download,
use the internet and have someone on the phone talking at the same time.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
God,
could
yeah.
watch 1080p video while Skyping with people. It'd be
The fuck's a Skype?
It's insane. Yeah, well, yeah, what's a Skype? But yeah, so I kind of think future wise as far as that. So that's why I made the decision to start recording in both higher quality and recording at not 30 frames a second. Maybe not 60 for every game, but higher, whatever it'll actually allow me to do, up to 60. Because 60, once you get to 60, I think you're good to go.
Yeah.
But that's the main reason I've been doing it. And I honestly thought it would take longer for YouTube to go to 60 frames a second. I thought
Well, they
it'd
were
probably
at
take
60
least
at
a
one
year or
point
two.
already. Then they swapped back
Were
to
they?
30. Yeah. There's videos on YouTube from back in 2005 or whenever they launched of 60 FPS. I can try and
But
find
yeah,
it.
I knew they were going to do it eventually. I mean, eventually they were going to do it. I just didn't think it would be this soon. So I'm very glad to see this coming, because despite the whole stupid arguments with the consoles, 720p versus 1080p, if you that's whatever. But if you there's a
Better versus
significant
worse.
difference between 30 FPS and 60. It's obvious. It's one of those, if you can't see this, you really do have eye problems, because it's so much smoother at 60 frames a second. So I'm very excited to see this. I'd love to also see them get better encoding methods, so my videos don't look like crap after I've uploaded
yeah.
them. But whatever, one step at a
One
time.
step at a yeah, exactly, one step at a time. Also, the 60 FPS video that I was talking about has YouTube fixed the last piece of 60 FPS video on this database. In other words, whatever you do, it's always 30 FPS for now, according to the description. So it was 60 FPS for the past few years. Then they patched it. Oh well. Do you guys want to close it now since we've been going for over an hour now, or do you want to continue talking about the Steam summer sale or whatever?
The Steam Summer Sale was interesting, but the Summer Adventure was fixed. CryTek going bankrupt is bad. I thought their engine would sell better, but hey, Rise was a piece of shit, so maybe it's not such a bad thing. Google and Razer creating a new Android TV-powered game console is something I've never even heard of, and I have no idea what it's going to look like. And Minecraft selling 54 million copies doesn't surprise me in the least.
That's just on console, I think, isn't it?
No, that was PC and console.
Oh, I was gonna say.
I think and mobile, because on mobile it sold like 25 million, so crazy.
The thing is, Minecraft is still it's coming out for the next gen consoles and stuff as well. And
I believe so.
As well.
Yeah,
Big
which
up the
is
sales
funny
on that
because
on
they
top
keep
of
calling
that.
it exclusive. The Minecraft Xbox One edition is exclusive to Xbox One. It's coming out on PS4, while the PS4 version is exclusive to the PS4. It's so stupid. Oh.
Well, it is kind of exclusive in the sense that, like, because of the tools that you're given, it handles like arse, and therefore it's different to the PC version, which, you know, handles like a PC game.
But they're even
because we
cool.
have the buttons to cope with that kind of game.
But they're still cool. Like the official Xbox Twitter account will still call the Xbox One version of Minecraft exclusive, even though there's an Xbox 360 version, a PS4 version, a PS3 version. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's not exclusive at all.
At this point, you should really just accept that, like, well, not you, but like, I think at this point we should just take it like on face value. The word exclusive should be seen as a lie.
Pretty much.
Because obviously, like, it's almost never not financially motivated for them to call it an exclusive. So, yeah, they don't tell the truth a whole lot. So.
Well, and now we have like exclusive, and then we have console exclusive, and then it's like, all right, we have timed console exclusive, and it's like, oh, well, it's like, well,
then we have
console
exclusive that's not technically timed, but is actually going to come out.
And then we've got
on
exclusive
PC anyway.
debuts.
60 exclusive minutes of gameplay.
Oh god, that's the worst. God damn it, Ubisoft, stop
It's
that.
actually the worst. The way they measure it in minutes as well, it's like, I'm not buying like jelly beans here. This is a video game. I don't buy them by the minute, you know.
If I just stand still for 60 minutes, will the game just auto shut off?
Bayonetta 2 will be exclusive though. I think that's a safe bet.
Well, Nintendo's funding it, so yeah.
That's why I said I think
it's just so weird though, because Nintendo owns the Bayonetta 2 IP, but Sega still owns the Bayonetta IP. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't quite get that either, but I don't really care because it means Bayonetta 2 is coming out.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's a shame that Hideki Kamiya is not directing it, but we probably will get less sections like that missile chapter where you're writing in. Just it's never ended.
That sucked.
It really did.
Sucked.
Hideki Kamiya has that in all his games, though. It's ridiculous.
I think I actually got 1,000 gamer score on that one on Xbox, and I hated redoing that mission to get the stupid.
I love the fight with the lady, Jean. I can't remember how you pronounce her name.
We fight her like 3 times.
Yeah, and it's awesome each time. I love it.
Yeah. Fighting her was really fun, especially one of the last times you're fighting on the rocket and whatnot.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
It's Bayonetta. But yeah, I love the fights with her because they are very just fast and fluid and dynamic.
When they're throwing stuff back at each other and you have to quickly press the Y button, it's hilarious. Or triangle. Yeah. So Minecraft sold 54 million copies.
I feel like he's doing all right for himself like that
notch. Yeah.
Like every time I see him like drop 10K on like the Summer Games Done Quick charity, I'm like, God, like I realize he's rich, but man, that's 10,000. He just drop it like it's nothing. And then I see him selling 54 million copies of Minecraft. I'm like, oh,
it is nothing to him.
Like that's
basically.
a drop in a bucket.
That's got to be like a daily take or something like that. It's maybe not every day, but it's approaching that. You kind of wonder, like, I don't know how many more people are going to buy Minecraft.
It's still so very popular.
That's the thing.
I thought it would like slow down by now, but it just seems to like either keep the same pace or be speeding up.
Well, it's sort of becoming more like it had a phase of a sequence of rapid updates, and it really broke a lot of the mods, and the mod community sort of suffered for it. But now there's like some really capable people who are working in teams, and there's like the Feed the Beast mod packs and stuff.
Yeah.
and so the game and they're becoming like bigger and more imaginative and stuff like that, and so it's basically just constantly being reinvented, and it was pretty creative and open to begin with, so I'm not surprised its lifespan has been that much. Then of course there's the fact that the YouTube channels are still going strong as well, although I guess that's kind of like it reciprocates there.
It's the third best-selling game ever. It's ridiculous.
What is
are
the
the top
first?
two?
Sims?
The first
Sims?
one is Wii Sports, I think, and then the second one, Super Mario Bros. For the original NES.
Yeah,
Really?
that sounds about right.
I believe so.
I'm not surprised by Wii Sports, because like
I'll have to take a
I'm not
look.
sure there was a hype train quite as big as there is. Like, I mean, I know that's a dangerous thing to say, but like,
It's
the build-up to
Tetris,
Christmas
then Wii Sports, then
discussion.
Minecraft.
Oh, okay. Tetris, really?
Yeah, Tetris sold
People are
100.
playing for that
It was a
game.
pack-in for the Game Boy, which is a very
The same
successful
sort of thing
system.
with Wii Sports, you know.
Yeah, Wii Sports was
Exclusive.
a pack-in as well.
But still, that game was amazing. That's all I used to play on the original Game Boy.
Tetris.
Oh, Tetris. That's your Wii
Tetris.
Sports.
Oh yeah.
Wii Sports in the original.
I will say Wii Sports was a hell of a lot of fun though, because we used to have game nights every Friday, just like D&D nights, and then
I've
we were all
not played it.
playing
How
Wii
is
Sports.
it?
Wii Sports?
Yeah. I skipped the Wii
a lot
generation.
of
I'm
fun
only
with
playing
other
Wii games
people.
now through the Wii U.
That's a lot of fun with other people.
Doing bowling and table tennis and stuff.
I love the bowling. Bowling was my favorite. But yeah, the tennis was a lot of fun. The
Does
golf
it have
was
table
fun.
tennis?
It's just regular tennis.
I think it's the second.
I'd rather
one they
play
did just
Rockstar's
had
table tennis.
Yeah, I think the second one had the table tennis.
Kinect had table tennis when it first did its first.
Yeah,
sports
but we
thing.
don't speak of Connect.
My little brother actually got one. The table tennis gets pretty furious on that one. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, I had, like, I'm not very physically strong, but because of the way you move for the Kinect, you sort of develop, like, quite a hefty backhand slap, and, yeah. Not that I've used that since. This is a
Oh,
weird thing to
sure.
bring up. Let's move on. But yeah, by all means, get the Kinect and train your pimp slaps.
Yeah, Minecraft's the third best-selling game ever at 54 million.
Crazy.
What does it have to topple?
It has to topple Wii Sports at 82.54 million, and then Tetris 143 million.
Jesus.
143 million. So they got a way to go.
Yeah,
But I think they're...
they
my
might
God.
get second place.
But the thing is, it's such a small team that's, like, benefiting from the proceeds, or at least it must have been initially. You'd have thought that they get a much more significant slice of the cake than, say, Nintendo did from Wii Sports. So,
It's
yeah,
just...
he could be, like, among the richest video game developers ever.
Probably.
It makes you wonder what he's gonna like make next, because I haven't heard much about Scrolls since it's
Yeah, he keeps going on it. Is that even his game? I thought it was someone else's on Mojang's team.
Oh,
Yeah, I
maybe,
thought Scrolls
but-
was something else.
Well,
Because
yes,
I think
some
Notch was
Mojang,
like
yeah.
the 0x000, and I think that got canceled.
Yeah, some fans of it are remaking it now because Notch abandoned it. And then he made his next game, which was just some random weird test thing, which isn't actually a game. It's just some random like tech demo. I don't know. It just seems like a joke. But
There's not
yeah,
much further to go after the third best-selling
Yeah.
video game of all time, though. Maybe you just like your heart isn't in it anymore. Like,
hey, well, Shigeru Miyamoto made Super Mario Bros. And then he made Wii Sports, so it's always possible.
oh wow, that guy's got 1 and 2.
Yeah. Well, no, he's got 2 and 4. Tetris is 1.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Wait, so Super Mario Brothers has actually sold less than Minecraft.
Yep. I was mistaken when I said it earlier. Super Mario Bros. Has sold 35.53 million. Oh, sorry, no, 40.24 million. I was looking at Mario Kart Wii. Jesus Christ, the Wii games. Yeah, Minecraft sold a lot.
Sure
So that's the end of the podcast, or anyone else got anything to comment on the topics of discussion?
I noticed you changed the closing topic
Yeah, Maddragon got
against
the
my-
thing later on, and I think he'd be confused.
against my express request. But okay.
Well, anyway, since if no one else has anything to say, let's just thank the audience for listening. So thank you, audience, for listening. If you did,
Thank
if
you,
not, then go to hell.
I question your lineage. There we go, we got it in there anyway.
Congratulations.
Uh-huh.
Alright, so does anyone have any projects they would like to give a shout out to? Like either something you're on or something you just enjoy. So if you have anything of interest, just say it now and I'll put a link to it in the description.
Just my YouTube channel and all the amazing Let's Plays that I upload.
Aren't you doing a different podcast or something? Do you want to do that? Or?
Yeah, me and a real life friend of mine, we do the Super Game Talk Turbo HD Remix.
Oh,
podcast.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of those.
I'll put a link
yeah,
to
if
that.
you guys were like, this was only an hour and a bit long, what happened to the usual 4-hour podcast? You can probably like do a double bill.
Yeah, we started off doing like 3.5-ish hour podcasts, and we had to like cut it back a little bit.
Now, is there an ongoing plot line to your podcast, or can I just jump in at any time?
You can just jump in.
Who shot?
Okay.
There you go.
Maddragon, anything to shout out? IceBear?
No, I haven't actually been recording all that much. I guess Torchlight 2 is up there if anyone at all would like to watch that. I say that because it sits on Zero quite often, but yeah, that series is out there. In case it's kind of like a podcast in itself, like because it's such a podcast game that you can switch off while playing it. So we tend not to focus on the actual gameplay so much unless we're criticizing it, which is like half the thing.
Half of it's swearing at it, half of it's just playing whatever else. Load screens.
Half of it's swearing at something while we're doing it, and then the other half is just talking about how pointless that was when we find out what it was made of.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Maddragon?
Well,
Shout out to the Vita.
The Vita, yeah, of course, the Vita, the PlayStation Master Race and all that.
Try it out if you'd like.
Yes. Other than that, there's my YouTube channel, and currently Let's Playing Dark Souls 2. That's the only thing I'm actively doing lately. But yeah, other than that, PlayStation for life. Yeah.
All right. I don't have anything I'd like to shout out aside from IceBear's channel, so go check out IceBear.
Oh, thank you.
Sweet.
And
Sucks to be you guys.
and that's it. Oh, specifically IceBear's Thief Let's Play. Not his Torchlight bullshit. God no. Rubbish. Especially that Raven kid. Anyway, that's the end of the podcast. Thank you for joining us on the first part, and we'll see you in a fortnight.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.